Hey guys, welcome back to Chris's Habs Corner. And today we're going to be going over whether Joshua Waugh can actually make the jump to the Habs starting lineup come September. He's a player I've been very intrigued to talk about. I haven't gotten a chance to really talk about him on this show recently, so I'm going to dive right into him today on this episode. Let's get into it, guys. Joshua Waugh in the 2022-2023 season, he was with the Sherbrooke Phoenix last year, 55 games played, 46 goals, 53 assists, 99 points. I believe the year prior, he actually had won the Jean Beliveau Award for most valuable player in the Q, Quebec Major Junior Hockey League. He since his draft year in 2021 when the Habs picked him up in the 5th round, he's really shown that he's not just a 5th round pick. He's more of like a 2nd or 3rd round pick with how much he's just exponentially grown and improved over the past couple of years, right? I'm going to get into it, but there have been some improvements to certain areas of his game that really show that because he can make these improvements, that he belongs, that he has NHL potential, and that he's coachable at the NHL level, right? Some of his game as well just naturally translates well to the NHL. So I'm going to get right into it, guys. Change my little stat sheet up here a little bit. But yeah, let's get into his shot a little bit. Joshua Waugh, the type of shot he has is deadly accurate, right? He's got pinpoint accuracy. He's good velocity to it, but the main thing that really separates him from other people with his shot is his ability to create a shot without having to have a big wind up or a big span to pull the puck back and then shoot, right? It's literally just he has the same strength in his wrists almost as like literally a follow through of a wrist shot, right? He has a very powerful shot with little space to operate. Multiple release points. Again, he's a player that shoots in stride. He can go at lightning fast speeds and take a beautiful snapshot from the top of the faceoff circles deadly accurately, right? Without really phasing his game too much or pulling him off his stride. He has the ability to have patience to hold up and really getting closer to a goaltender as well and shoot. And parts of his shot game really translate to his passing game as well, in the fact that he can manipulate passing lanes, radius, or a big space around him to shoot the puck. And that can really be unpredictable to a lot of defenders, right? And really kind of pull their sticks out of the way or out of position to open up passing lanes for other players. I've seen videos of him doing that. And a lot of scouts have talked about that as well. And watching the videos I have, it's pretty impressive, right? A lot of the scouting videos and a lot of just the reports within his passing game as well talked about just how creative he gets with his setup sometimes, especially coming in on the rush. He'll not be afraid to he doesn't have, 17 different fake outs and stutter step movements to his game, but he has enough stick handling abilities to really pull a stick out of the way and open up a passing lane, right? He'll pull a puck to his backhand and then make it look like he's pulling it back to his forehand, but he's not, and he's just so slippery to make a nice backhand pass on the rush to one of his teammates coming in as the trailer. So he does have a little bit of craftiness and manipulation to his passing game. It's not on the level of a guy like Mitch Kov or even Will Smith, but he definitely has some of that to his game a little bit here. He has like a really good sense too when he's behind the net or in the corners of where his teammates are mapped out on the ice, almost in like a stationary standstill moment, and he just knows how to connect the dots in that one play. With one very high dangerous pass to the high slot and get it through traffic, right? I saw a video clip of Joshua Waugh when he had the puck in the corner that he won a battle for in the corner, and he had the puck on his backhand and he wasn't even looking, and he just knew that he had a defenseman on the weak side trailing into the high slot and just got that puck right through about 3 or 4 sticks worth of traffic right on his stick. Ended up in the back of the net, so he has that sense to his game as well. His passes are hard and crisp most of the time. He does make good passes. He's another player that, because of the style of play he has. He does play small game a lot in and around the net, understands smaller, simple passes at the right time are the most effective, which is always good, right? So that really just rolls right into his overall awareness of the game and his hockey sense, right? Um, he's improved upon this a lot the past 2 seasons. A lot of scouting reports have said, especially over the 2022-2023 season, he's really improved upon being better without the puck and being better with the puck, specifically pretty much in the offensive zone. He's a lot better at finding space and creating space for himself without the puck this past couple of seasons, more so than he was a few years ago. Which has really helped him out because there are certain elements of his skating game that do slow him down a little bit. So his ability now to improve his off-puck game in the offensive zone has really helped him out a lot because of that. A lot of scouting reports have really just talked about how he had trouble a lot of times really just finding open areas that weren't too close to his teammate that had the puck, or was, he was overly supporting the puck too much and kind of just bunching himself up and making it way too easy for defenders to just kind of collapse around him and his teammate who had the puck, and it wasn't really able to pull away and spread out the offensive zone when he did not have the puck. And I've seen some clips of him improving upon that a lot, right? I saw one clip where, recently this year with the Sherbrooke Phoenix, where 2 or 3 series in a row, he chose to just slip away from the picture of his teammate driving up the half wall with the puck and just pull himself more towards the net and pull a couple of defenders with him. And then that opened up the weak side defenseman to come in, just open up the whole offensive game. So there's a lot of parts of not having the puck that really play a key role in opening up the offensive ice, right? So his ability to adapt to that and be able to really just adjust to that shows he has the knowledge to play at the NHL level, I think, a little bit, and especially with the puck as well. Look, he's a tenacious forechecker, Joshua Waugh. He's the real deal. That's the part that's going to translate well to the NHL, right? But there's a lot of times he's strong on the puck. He can really just drive through a player and protect the puck really, really well and create space for himself that way on the, exterior of the zone. But he was having a lot of trouble really cutting in and having a good sense of a lane to the net, right? He wasn't seeing the open areas he could take to cut in towards the middle when he was going around the perimeter with the puck. I watched a video of him doing donuts literally for about 30 seconds around the offensive zone, just with puck possession the whole time, looking for options. And the video slowed down, and it showed 4 or 5 different opportunities he had to make a cut towards the middle with a lane to the net, right? And he just missed all of them. And then I saw another video of him with improvement on that this past season where he was making the right adjustments. He was cutting more towards the net. He did bring pressure more towards the interior. He was seeing the open areas a lot better. So he really has improved his off-puck and on-puck game in the offensive zone a lot this year. And that just adds to what he already has in the offensive zone, right? He has a lot of different attributes in the offensive zone, specifically his forechecking. His forechecking and his ability to just understand defensemen when they're going to retrieve the puck. When he's going in on the forecheck against them, he understands what their weaknesses are, whether it's a bad pivot and you expose them and he's able to strip them of the puck, or just the right proper body positioning and stick handling. 99% of the time when he dumps a puck in and goes in on the forecheck, he's going to get it back. He's just one of those types of players that has that gift, right? A lot of that has to do with skill, not just your work ethic as well. He does have the hard work ethic on the forecheck, but a lot of that is skill to be able to go in and win those puck battles with the right body positioning and just having the good vision and sense of how the different weaknesses in defensemen retrieving the puck are, and being able to exploit them, right? And he does that a lot. Like, you feel his presence when he goes in on the forecheck. You know he's going to strip them of the puck. You know he's in control of the game when he's on the forecheck going in behind the net. You can feel that he's going to win it. And then, like I said, he has that ability, and he has that complements it, just the strength to just manhandle people and shove them off and protect the puck, right? And his teammates really feed off of that as well. I think that he also has the ability to stick handle and open up passing lanes as well, not just on the rush like I was talking about earlier, but he has some slippery moves to his game behind the net. To kind of just pull in the puck, pull back the puck on the forehand, backhand, and really protect it well. But there are some lacking elements of his skating game that would really help him out in this department as well. Getting into his skating a little bit. So he is not the most explosive with his agility or the most slippery with his movements to cut in and cut out, left, right movements, right? He does lack that a little bit. So he does get pressured along the boards kind of quickly sometimes, right? And really gets closed off. He uses his teammates for simple plays a lot of times when he does get pressured along the boards, or he'll have to use his stick handling a little bit to really just keep the play going. If he had the agility and the explosiveness to his game to cut in and cut back out and just totally lose a defender and shake off the pressure that way, he'd be able to drive more towards the middle at times. But again, this is something he has shown improvement on this past season as well. It's still not 100%, but he has shown improvement on it. That's nothing but good news. The fact that he's improving on all these areas is just... It's promising signs that he has the work ethic and the knowledge and the skills a little bit to really improve on all these areas, right? Another big problem with his skating is he almost has, like a lot of scouts talk about this, his hunch and his wide width with his skating. It really just it's kind of like a bad drain that's clogged up, right? It just takes a while for everything to get flowing. And he does take a little bit to get to his top speed. His top speed is okay, we're pretty decent, but the amount of time it takes him to get to that speed is the problem. So that is apparent. That is another area of his game that needs work. Again, a lot of scouts talk about all these different areas of his skating game as well have improved incrementally over the past season. They just need more improvement. So that's a promising sign, like I said before. But his lack of acceleration sometimes, especially going through the neutral zone, it does force him to dump the puck and have to retrieve it. Where I feel like, and a lot of scouts talked about this as well, if he was able to have that speed a lot faster, you'd see him drive plays into the offensive zone a lot more. And that would probably boost his confidence a lot as well if he was able to just drive a play into the offensive zone with puck possession a lot more. That would really just make him realize his game offensively and what he could have, right? So, overall, though, he is a solid, at least top 9 player in the NHL. I think he's proven that. Usually a 5th round player is at best maybe a 4th line, maybe a 3rd line player. I'd say solid 9, top line forward with the ability, not just to be in a checking role on a 3rd line, but to be in a top 6, possibly some power play time with that shot ability and some of his hockey sense he has, right? I think that just overall, all areas of his game and all of his attributes together are decent enough where they're going to translate well to the NHL, especially, that he's on the right trajectory with improvement in the areas that he was lacking. And man, can he actually make the cut and go into training camp and make the Habs roster? I don't know. I'm pulling for him. I think he's going to give guys like Pizzetta, Yolonen, 4th line guys a run for their money for sure, especially a hungry kid coming in that went to World Juniors and played alongside Connor Bedard last year. That had to have boosted his confidence playing that role as the guy that was creating and just making space for Connor Bedard in the World Juniors and Team Canada, and he stayed on that line with him throughout the whole World Juniors. So I think that confidence from that experience and just overall how much of a high mountain he's climbed up the past year, I think he has a legitimate chance at least giving those guys a run for their money, and maybe he could, be a fourth line guy this year on the Habs. Just being that, checking role, or just see what he has. He might make the jump. He might actually do it. If not, I don't think the Q is really the place for him to go anymore. I think he's already learned what he's going to learn at that level, and I don't think he would really improve upon anything. I think he needs to be at the minimum in Laval next year at a higher pace, to really see if he can really unfold his brain into picking up the pace of that level and reading the plays at that level, especially since he's been improving upon that area over the past couple of years, right? So we'll see, guys. We shall see. I will be coming out with another episode this weekend. I know I keep saying I'm going to talk about the Florida pick and what we're going to do with that. There's been a lot of speculation from a lot of different sources about different trade proposals, different ideas of what to do with that pick. Just all the draft speculation. I need to make an episode and talk about that because I have my own thoughts and ideas on it. Hopefully this weekend I'll be out to do that. I will talk to you guys next time. Go Habs, go.